If you're within 5 to 10 years of retirement, even if you already have a financial advisor, this video is going to cover 3 reasons why you might want to get a new one. Longevity doesn't necessarily mean death. Some people just assume that because they've had an advisor for decades, everything must be fully covered. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes it's not. I had someone referred to me recently that had been with the same advisor for 31 years. We'll call them Bob and Sue. Another professional had referred them to me following the sale of Sue's family business. Bob had retired within the past few years. Their retirement accounts were rolled over to be managed by their longtime financial advisor. Distributions began. Everything seemed routine. But as we began reviewing their overall situation, it became clear that there had been little to no conversation around tax strategy, charitable strategy, estate coordination, distribution planning. None of that was covered. Bob and Sue had done well financially, including selling a business. They just assumed that they were always right on track. And as to simply not running out of money, they likely were on track. They were likely still be leaving significant assets to their heirs either way. However, due to lack of further planning for those tax and charitable strategies, they were also likely going to be leaving an unintended inheritance to Uncle Sam through paying extra taxes that they likely wouldn't have to with some solid tax planning. Now, this is not because their prior advisor was dishonest, but it's because portfolio management and retirement income strategy and tax planning, they're not the same thing. Accumulation and distribution, they just require different thinking. In your 30s and your 40s, the focus is typically on growth and discipline. As you approach your 50s and 60s and beyond, the focus often shifts to things like tax efficiency, withdrawal sequencing, charitable strategy, estate coordination, income sustainability. So here are 3 reasons why you might want to get a new advisor. 1, if your advisor has become complacent and you just don't hear from them. This time as you near and enter retirement is extremely important. You probably have more opportunities over the next several years for tax planning than you've ever had. 2, if your relationship seems driven by monthly statements and quarterly performance reports, and focus on the rate of return without focus on what that return means for you and your life and your goals in your particular situation, especially as you move from the accumulation phase to the distribution phase, the conversations should evolve too. 3, if you're approaching or in retirement and you haven't heard phrases like future required minimum distributions or managing tax brackets as income changes, qualified charitable distributions, or Social Security timing and withdrawal strategies. Longevity in a relationship, it's valuable, but depth of planning matters just as much. And sometimes people just don't know what questions aren't being asked. If you're approaching retirement or already there, it's worth stepping back and asking, is my planning evolving as my life evolves? If you'd like a second set of eyes on that question, I'd be happy to have that conversation. Click below and let's schedule a call.